the beginning of World War I, convinced that Austria and Hungary was ready for war, the Serbian government ordered the Serbian army to mobilize and appeal to Russia for assistance. On July 28, Austria and Hungary declared war on Serbia. The weak peace between Europe's great power quickly collapsed. Within a week, Russia, Belgium, France, Great Britain, and Serbia had lined up against Australia, Hungary, and Germany. The World War I had begun. The Western Front. According to an aggressive military strategy known as the Schlieffen Plan, named for its mastermind German Field Marshal Alfred von Schlieffen, Germany began fighting World War I in two fronts, invading France through neutral Belgium in the west and confronting Russia in the east. On August 4, 1914, German troops crossed the border into Belgium. In the First Battle of World War I, the governor assaulted the heavily fortified city of Lille, using the most powerful weapons in their arsenal, enormous siege cannons, and captured the city by August 15. The Germans left dead and destructed in their way as they advanced through Belgium towards France, shooting civilians and executing the Belgians priests and the head accused of inciting civilian resistance. The Western Front. According to an aggressive military strategy known as the Schlieffen Plan, named for its mastermind German Field Marshal Alfred von Schlieffen, Germany began fighting World War I in two fronts, invading France through neutral Belgium in the west and confronting Russia in the east. On August 4, 1914, German troops crossed the border into Belgium. In the First Battle of World War I, the governor assaulted the heavily fortified city of Lille, using the most powerful weapons in their arsenal, enormous siege cannons, and captured the city by August 15. The Germans left dead and destructed in their way as they advanced through Belgium towards France, shooting civilians and executing the Belgians priests and the head accused of inciting civilian resistance. The Battle of Marne. In the First Battle of Marne, fought from September 6 to 9, 1914, French and British forces confronting the invaded German army, which had by then penetrated deep into northeastern France within 30 miles of Paris. The Allied troops checked the German advance, mounted and successfully soundtracked, driving the Germans back to north of the Eastern River. The defeat meant the end of Germany plans for a quick victory in France. Both sides dug into trenches, and Western France was the setting for a hellish war of attrition and would last more than 3 years. Particular long and close battles in this campaign was fought at Verdun, February to December 1916, and the Battle of Somme, July to November 1916. German and French troops suffered close to 1 million casualties in the Battle of Verdun alone. The Eastern Front. On the Eastern Front, the World War I, Russia forces invaded the German-held region of East Prussia and Poland, but were stopped short by German and Australian forces in late August 1914. Despite the victory, Russia assault had forced Germany to move into two corps from the Western Front to the Eastern, contributing to the German loss of the Battle of the Marne. Combined to the fierce elite resistance in France, the ability of Russia's huge war machine to mobilize religion quickly to the east ensured a long, more grueling conflict instead of a quick victory. Germany had hoped to win under the Schlieffen Plan. America enters World War I. At the outbreak of fighting in 1914, the United States remained on the sidelines of World War I, adopting to the policy of neutrality in favor of President Woodrow Wilson, while continuing to engage in commerce and shipping into European countries to both sides of the conflict. Neutrality, however, was increased default in maintaining in the face of Germany's unchecked submarine aggression against neutral ships, including those carrying passengers. In 1915, Germany declared the waters surrounding the British Isles to be a war zone. The German U-boats sunk several commercial and passenger vessels, including some USA ships. Widespread protests over the sinking by U-boat of the British ocean liner traveling from New York to Liverpool, England, with hundreds of American passengers on board in May 1915, helped turn into the tide of American public opinion against Germany. In February 1917, Congress passed a $250 million arms appropriation bill intended to make the United States ready for war. Germany sunk 4 more U.S. merchant ships the following month, and on April 2, Woodrow Wilson appeared before Congress to call on the declare of war against Germany. The Second Battle of Marne. With Germany able to build up its strength on the Western Front after the armistice with Russia, Allied troops struggled to hold off another German offense until promised reinforcement after the United States were able to arrive. After suffering massive casualties, Germany was forced to call off a planned defense further north in the Flanders region stretching between France and Belgium, which was envisioned as Germany's best hope of victory. The Second Battle of Marne turned the tide of war decisively towards the Allies, who were able to regain much of France and Belgium in the months that followed. World War I casualties. World War I took the lives of more than 9 million soldiers. 21 more were wounded. Civilians' casualty causes indirectly by the war numbered close to 10 million. The two nations mostly affected were Germany and France, each of which sent some 80% of their male population between the ages of 15 to 49 into battle. The politics disruption surrounding World War I also contributed to the fall of four vulnerable imperial dynasties: Germany, Austria, Hungary, Russia, and Turkey. Legacy of World War I. World War I brought a massive social upheaval as millions of women entered the workforce to support men who went to war and to replace those who never came back. The first global war also happened to spread one of the worst, deadliest global pandemics, the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918, which killed an estimated 20 to 50 million people. World War I has also been referred to as the first modern world war. Many of technologies many of technology we now associate with military conflict, machine guns, tanks, aerial combat, and radio communications were introduced as a massive scale during the World War I. The severe effects that chemical weapons such as mustard gas and phosgene had a soldiers and a civilian during World War I. A galvanized public and military attitude against their continued use. The Geneva Convention agreements signed in 1825 restricted the use of chemical and biological events in warfare and remained in effect today. Life lessons. One life lesson I learned is to not humiliate an entire country, because at the end of the World War, Germany was declared solemnly responsible for the conflict. The country lost part of its territory and all its colonial empire. And on top of it all, it had to pay considerable reparations. Another life lesson I learned for this is fear is a good advisor. If they had more fear of their enemy, these countries probably wouldn't have been so quick to declare war. Just thinking of the reason the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union were descended into our war. Each camp was afraid of other atomic arsenals. My own thoughts in the World War I are I don't really like war, so no, I don't really like